Hello students, today we are going to see the topic Introduction to Structured Query Language, and it is from second unit Relational Data Model. This is outline of today's presentation. We are going to learn Introduction to Structured Query Language, data types in SQL and components of SQL. Introduction to Structured Query Language. SQL, it stands for Structured Query Language, and every relational database management system, it supports this structured query language. Why this structured query language is required? It is required to communicate with the database. SQL language is used to communicate with the database. It is a standard language for a relational database management system. And this language is used to perform different operations on database, like insertion, means you can insert data in the database using structured query language. It can be used for performing retrieval operation. Required information can be retrieved from the database using this structured query language. This language can be used for performing operations like updation of data, deletion of data, etc. Some common RDBMS softwares that uses SQL are MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft Access, Microsoft SQL Server, Sybase, IBM DB2, etc. There are number of RDBMS softwares. For practical purpose, you can use any software, database software. We are going to use Oracle for practical. SQL is developed by IBM as a part of System R project in 1970. And it is a declarative language, not a procedural one like C programming language. C language is a procedural language. Using this language, you can create programs, you can create applications. But unlike that C, structured query language is not procedural one. It is not a full-fledged programming language. Using SQL, you cannot create software or application or program. It is just declarative language, and it can be used along with some other programming languages like Java. Next point is data types in SQL. So in relational database management system, data is stored in tabular format. So while creating table, we have to assign data types to the column. Suppose we want to store information of student, so we have to store it in table. So the fields in the table may be roll number, name, percentage marks, like that. So which data type will be accepted by each column or each field, we have to specify it, and data type specifies the type of data which is accepted by that column. These data types, they are used to decide that which type of data columns can store. There are different data types supported by SQL, like numeric, datetime, character, and other data types. According to our syllabus, you have to learn only numeric, datetime, and character or string data types. So let us see these data types. First widely used data type is char, and in bracket you have to specify length of that character string. So this char data type accepts character or string type of data. It can accept single character, it can accept string type of data also. And it is known as a fixed length data type. Fixed length because in bracket you specify length, and that much amount of memory is allocated for that data, and that is a fixed memory. Once it is allocated, it is used. Let us see one example. Suppose you have to store data of student in such table. So for roll number, which type of data the column roll number will accept? Suppose roll numbers are like this, 101, 102, like this. So it will accept numeric data. Roll number will not be like ABC. So the data type for this roll number will be integer. For name, you have to store string. So name is suppose Kamal. So this is a string. This is a character array. So for this name, you have to specify data type as char. So you can specify like name of column is name and data type is char and in bracket 10. Here length is specified. You can specify sufficient amount of length. So here 10 means you can store maximum 10 characters under this name column. Now here our name is of only 5 characters. But as char is a fixed length data type, the remaining 5 spaces it will be remain blank as it is, and it will be wasted. The memory will be wasted because once here length is specified as 10, 10 byte memory is reserved for every name, and if it is not used totally, then remaining memory will be wasted. Next, somewhat similar data type is varchar. Varchar and in bracket length. It accepts character or string type of data, and it is known as a variable length data type. This is only difference between char and varchar. It is known as variable length data type, and it doesn't waste memory like char. Let us see here. Here, suppose the data type of the name column it is specified as varchar instead of char, and length specified is 10, means your name may contain maximum 10 characters. Now data type of this name is varchar, but our name is having actual name is having only 5 characters here. So what will happen? Only 5 bytes of memory is used, and remaining 5 bytes are used for other purpose because it is a variable length character string. So here, unlike char, memory is not wasted. If your name is less than 10 characters, the remaining memory space is used for other purpose. So it doesn't waste memory like char data type. Next data type is boolean. So it accepts true or false values only. Another widely used data type is int. It accepts numeric values. For example, you want to store roll numbers, or suppose there is a table, account table. So account number is having numeric value. Then you can use the data type as int. It allows whole numbers between this range. All whole numbers are allowed by this integer data type. There is another data type which is decimal or numeric. So here square bracket, it indicates that it is optional. It is not compulsory. P comma precision commas scale. P means precision, S means scale. So decimal or numeric or only just number, all three are same. So here let us see one example. Here you want to store percentage marks. So percentage marks will not be only integer like roll number. So percentage marks will be like 78.92. like this means you have to store such type of floating point numbers. So for this field percentage marks, you can use data type like numeric, or you can use just number also, number. And precision and scale are optional. If you want to specify total length of this number, then you can specify here in P 4. 4 means total length of this number, and comma 2 means after decimal point you want 2 digits. So total digits required are 4, and how out of 4 digits, how many digits are reserved for digits after decimal point? 2. So here you can specify like 4 comma 2. Suppose your percentage marks, you want such type of 100% marks also, you want to store such type of data. So total length you can specify here as 5, and digits after decimal point are 2. If you want digits after decimal point, 3 digits after decimal point, then total length of your number is 5, and digits after decimal point you can specify 3. After decimal point there should be maximum 3 digits. So here if you have specified precision and scale like 5 comma 3, then you cannot store the 100%, it will be okay like this. So it accepts decimal, numeric, or only number can also be used. It accepts floating point values for which you define a precision and scale. Suppose you have not defined precision and scale, you have written only number, then it can accept integer type of values also. So precision is a positive integer representing total number of digits in that number. Total number of digits including digits before decimal point and digits after decimal point. And S means scale. It is a positive integer representing the number of digits after decimal point. Example numeric 4 comma 2. Total number of digits in that number will be 4. It will be digits before decimal point plus digits after decimal point, and 2 means digits after decimal point. Next data type is a date. Suppose you want to store uh, birth date information of student, so that birth date column should take uh, date type of values only. Or you want to store employee information, and in that table you want to store joining date information, so that column will take date type of values only. So it accepts date type of values specified in YY-MM-DD format. You can store time information also in SQL table. It accepts time values specified in the form HH:MM:SS. Hours, minutes, and seconds can be stored. So these are most commonly used data types in SQL. So in your syllabus you have to learn only this much amount of data types, but actually some other data types are also supported by SQL, but it is beyond the scope of our syllabus. Now next point is components of SQL. So let us see which are components of SQL. So first component of SQL is a data definition language. So data definition language, this component consists of SQL commands which are used for defining data. It consists of commands for suppose creating table or renaming table or modifying that table, like that. So it contains commands for defining the data. That's why it is called as a data definition language. Second component of SQL is a data manipulation language, DML. This component consists of SQL commands which are used for manipulating data in the database. Manipulating means suppose you want to update that data, you want to delete the data, you want to insert new data in the table. So such type of commands are present in this component, data manipulation language. Third component is a data query language, DQL. This component consists of command which is used for querying data from the database. So data is present in your database and you want to retrieve some required data from that table. So the required command is present in this data query language. There is a fourth component, data control language, DCL. This component consists of commands for controlling the data. It consists of commands for providing controlled access to your data. Means it includes commands for creating new user, or it includes command for assigning some permissions to user. It includes commands for removing some permissions which are already assigned, like that. And last component of SQL is transaction control language, TCL. So this component consists of commands which are required for transaction related operations. So in further lectures we are going to learn all these components in detail. So for today only remember that there are total 5 components of SQL: DDL, DML, DQL, DCL and TCL. And in next few lectures we are going to cover all these components in detail. So this brings us to the end of today's lecture. Thank you.